Hello and welcome to the MYOB Green Tree update for March 2018. Okay, a brief agenda of what I'm going to go through in this recording. The 2018.1.0 release. So that'll be an overview of what's in this release. Some updates. What's coming up in 2018.2 and going forward, and the details for some feedback and some questions if you've got anything after viewing this video. Okay, let's move into it. So 2018.1.0, okay, this will be released the week beginning the 19th of March. A discussion group post will be put up when this pack is available on FTP. Usual process. The release notes are done and will be made available as soon as the FTP is put up. Please note that these release notes are currently still residing on campus. So going to campus the normal way you'd get those release notes. So the highlights of what's coming in this release: the new UI, single touch payroll, or otherwise called STP for Australia. There'll be a separate webinar covering just this topic, and this will be released by or before next Friday the 30th of March. This is a little bit more detailed and also only relevant to Australian payroll, so we're just going to cover this separately. Online help. Some enhancements to the user preferences. On the browser, maps are now being made available. And bug fixes, including the Jade hotfix. So all the bug fixes are listed out in the release notes, so please check there if there's anything that you're looking for in particular, or just a list of what's coming out. So I'm now going to cover those bits in a bit more detail. Okay, the new UI. I'm not going to show you a whole list of screenshots. The December recording of this and the 2017.2.0 release, I provided a few screenshots of what was coming, so I'm not going to repeat all that. And by now most of you may have had a glance of it to some degree. Here's the new login screen, which removes the Green Tree 4 green one. And I've just taken one screenshot just generically of the supplier maintenance screen, just in case you haven't seen anything on it so far. So this is the new UI, the new look and feel. So when you take this along with the new Windows designer that came out last year, we're looking at some pretty good stuff. Okay, just some details around the new UI. There is only now one skin, so you haven't got the choices of the different skins that you had previously. To change the color between a test and a live system, there is now a setting in the jgt.ini file. So in the Jade server section, you'll see a setting MYOB Green Tree skin. The values are either normal or alternate. So normal is the color that I've just shown you previously. Alternate is a different color that's gone through the design team that you'll see. The other issue that came up while we were doing the EAP process was to solve customers had different skins per company. Because we're now moving to one skin, it was how do we identify different companies. So the solution to that was on the company wallpaper to have the company name or logo or some such identifier at the bottom of said wallpaper. Then in the workflow desk, when you set the setting to true on show background, it makes that bottom bar visible. to then set that show background, because obviously most people, well, not most people, but several customers may not be using that option. They don't want to therefore go through every single workflow desk to set that to true. We've provided a script to do that. So in the system scripts, under the workflow, you'll see an option there. Set the show background. So as you can see by the pop-up that I've screenshotted there, you can either select it at a desk level or you can do all desks. Okay, the online help. All help has now been moved to online. So when you go to the help, you'll only see two drop downs there. You've got online help or the about. So the about help still remains the same. You see what modules, user accounts, etc. you've got under there. So clicking the online help will launch the help in your default browser. The left-hand panel of that screen, which I'll show you in a second, still has the same layout as previously. Also, when you're on any screen, clicking on the question mark icon, I should say, in the top right, as you always did, also launches the online help, as what did previously. So the help being moved to online should also speed up the packing process even further after the changes we made to Pac-Man last year. So the online help, when you go to it, this is what it looks like. So as you can see what I mentioned, the kind of tree or branch structure remains the same in terms of how you navigate your way through, and you've still got your index and search which you had before. Concept of it still remains the same, but it will make updating it a lot quicker, and also the packing up process as I indicated. Okay, there's also some changes and some improvements in the user preferences area. I'm sure we've all had the pain of loading the user preferences and it taking an age to load up, and everybody's always kind of wondered why it took so long to load. So the Windows Designer took care of some of that issue, because we've moved those forms out of the user preferences. That's what took a long time to load each time. So other improvements we've made in this user preferences area. The user or team name is shown as the bar in the title bar. So if you're maintaining a team, it would say at the top there, preferences for team admin, CRM sales, if we're using the generic demo teams that are there. But as you can see in the screenshot there, I've said preferences for the user super. Preferences for user Craig Clark, Cameron Cook, if we're using those default demo users. As you can also see there, menu security is now searchable. So under that menu security tab, you'll see that search bar there. So you can search for the screens. Select boxes have now been moved to the left, as you can see also below, rather than far right hand side, and sometimes making it a little bit hard to see sometimes. In the Access tab, the site modules are now listed in suite order, with System Manager still at the top. So all these things have also improved the performance of loading this user preferences. This will affect customers obviously a lot more who do a lot of work in here, got huge teams to manage, etc. And this has become a bit of a painful process in the past. So just to look at that, on that Access in the Suite tab, you'll now see the list of those modules in alphabetical order with the System Manager or the system users at the top. Okay, maps on the browser. So, as you can see in my screenshot below there, from the CRM organization, on the address on the right hand side, click on the asterisk, and you use the option View Large Map. When you click on that View Large Map, it launches the map, as you can see below. Also launches this map in a new tab, so therefore you don't have any of those back arrow issues. You can simply close the tab if the address is wrong or it's not what you need. Okay, so I took the view of showing that from the organisation, but the same applies in the service request as well. So as you can see, I'm in the service request here. I've come in it from the badge, but you could open it from the service request screen itself. Called up the service request. I've moved on to the address down the bottom there, and again that option is View Large Map again, and that launches that map for me. Okay, some updates. This is just some general reminders or updates. Salesforce. Please remember to log Salesforce queries and enhancements request to this email address: essalesforcesupport@myob.com. So those requests got through a lot quicker than if you're just sending them to me, because I might not pick them up in a particularly speedily manner and pass them on. So if you go directly to this email address, it goes to our Salesforce team who can pick them up and do the necessary processing with them. Just to highlight, as you may have seen on some discussion group posts, there's a known issue within the knowledge base. So just a brief recap, that knowledge base is what has come from campus. The only thing that is left in campus now is the release notes. So everything else is there, and everything's been moved across, and everything was moved across. So if you can't find it, please let me know. So within that knowledge base, there's an issue just viewing any PDF and documentation that's there. You basically won't see it. You think, oh, it should be there, but it's not. The videos are fine. So the videos, which are just links to the YouTube channel, are fine. So it's just any attachments. This is being investigated. It's proving a little bit difficult to resolve, but we hope to have it resolved shortly, and I'll just put a posting up when that is done. Okay, message from support. So a new support handbook has been produced. This is done for several levels, just to update it, but also to align it and make it more referenceable to Salesforce. Now we're in the Salesforce world. So it's available on FTP, is available on knowledge base, but we have the previous mentioned issue that you can't view those attachments. So it's just off. You will be able to see it when that issue is resolved. The handbook just offers some guidelines for logging calls and uses more Salesforce terminology. Okay, so what's coming? I'm going to point you back to the Salesforce partner community discussion group. So last week, Jean published the roadmap on Salesforce in the community discussion group, so you'll see it there. This provides an overview of what's planned going forward for the next release and just beyond. So it's only a few slides, so please take a few minutes to view this, just to get up to date, and also if your customers are asking. But the highlights include ClickSense integration, performance improvements, enhanced reporting engine, and more ideas from the ideas portal. So it's improvements as well in bringing those ideas in, as well as any bug fixes that are coming through as well. So please take, it's only a few slides, but go to the discussion group and you'll see it there. Okay, this has been a bit of a whistle stop and brief video. Hopefully I just wanted to get those highlights of the 2018.1.0 release out. Just a reminder, the STP will be out before the end of next week, and I'll put a discussion group up with that when that's done. Otherwise, if you have any questions on that, please feel free to email me, and I can go off, and if I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer for you. So please email me and I'll get back to you. So I would like to thank you for your time in watching this video. Again, if you've got any questions, let me know. Thanks for your time.